Good.
Okay, so here we are again, another lunch and learn. Today, we are creating loyal customers in a competitive market. How do you beat your competitors? Do you try to do it on price? Do you try to do it on, oh, I have the most education? Or do you create customer loyalty? That's what we're going to be talking about today. We are Nate and Simone, and we talk all things marketing. And we are happy that you're here. Before we get started, if we'd love it if you would subscribe, share this out to your friends, and like the video so that we can YouTube will show us to more people. Okay. All right, let's dive in. Hey, Nate.
Hello, hello, hello. How are we doing today?
I am great. I am great. I
All
like
right.
this topic. Because a
Yeah.
lot of marketers out here talk about, especially digital marketers, right? It's all about getting the clients, right? How do you attract clients? It's about running the ads. It's about doing your SEO and building a beautiful website and having the funnel. But once you get the client, you can do all of that, and then when you get the client, then what?
Yeah, totally, exactly. And not only that, but a lot of people think of it like a one and done situation. So they're constantly finding themselves having to acquire a new customer, right?
Mhm.
Maybe it's project based, for example, and not really thinking in terms of long term, you know, customer lifetime value and those types of things. And so all of which uh, is very important, right? So it increases
Absolutely.
the total revenue that you're getting, decreases the cost of acquiring new customers because you don't have to get as many because you have so many that you've retained, right? So it's just a great thing all around. And your customers, if you're doing this right, are getting great customer service because otherwise they wouldn't stick around, right? So
Right, right.
yeah,
You want to treat
yeah,
them well so that they'll stay. And you don't
exactly.
have to keep going out and getting new customers.
Yeah. And, you know, two important words when it comes to the idea of creating loyalty in your customers: trust, which seems
Mm.
obvious, right? And consistency, which may not seem as obvious. But, you know, your clients like to see that you're everything is you're running a tight ship. You know, things are done when you say they're going to be done, and you are contacting them on a regular schedule just to kind of check in and find out how they're doing, asking about their private lives, and how their
Mhm.
kids are doing, and little Johnny do well on his last little league game, things like that.
Mhm.
Shows that you really care and that you're listening, right?
Human. Shows that you're human. Absolutely.
Yeah,
You're not some soulless corporation out here.
exactly, exactly. So yeah, trust and consistency, two very important um, pieces of the puzzle here. And I wonder if we can think of any brands that have won, or that's what they how they win new customers or retain customers through create loyal customers, excuse me, through their consistency or their trust. Can we think of any brands
Well,
like
I
that?
can think of one company that is extremely consistent. Whether they're, I guess you could say, because of their consistency, they do have trust. And that would be McDonald's. They're
Yeah,
extremely consistent.
yeah,
It doesn't really matter what McDonald's you go into anywhere in the country. You know, your burger is going to look the same. It's going to taste the same. The fries are going to taste the same. Ice
yeah.
cream machine may
It,
not work.
yeah, it probably won't,
That's
right?
pretty consistent,
That's
right?
consistent.
Consistent. But the nuggets are going to be the same. The bun is going to be the same. I like the sesame seed buns. Um, Yeah,
And
it's extremely consistent.
it,
And
it
because it's consistent, I do believe that that builds trust because you can
yeah,
trust it to be what you like, what you've gotten used to.
yeah. And they're staking their entire reputation on the quality of the product that they're putting out. It might not be the best available, but it's going to be good enough, and you're going to be able to know, the level of quality. You can expect the level of quality to be the same, regardless.
Exactly.
You
It's
know,
not going to vary. You're not going to get, you're not going to walk into a McDonald's in Minnesota and get an Angus burger and then walk into another McDonald's in Washington D.C. and get a different type of burger. It's going to be the same across the board.
now the situation that's occurring in those individual restaurants is somewhat of a variable. My I had a recent, relatively recent encounter in with a Chipotle restaurant. It's been a while ago, but it's up around the Oak Park area in Illinois. Wow, it was. I don't even know how to describe the situation there. It was it was dire.
Oh my. Oh my.
I can't believe we actually ate there. But anyway, yeah. So there's going to be some variables in there. But if the restaurant is following the protocols, following the handbook, if it's a franchise, there's probably going to be a handbook, and there's going to be you're hiring people that know exactly how it's supposed to work, right?
Mhm.
Then it should be an issue. But there's always going to be some outliers. But another one I can think of is like it's part of their slogan when it absolutely has to be there, right? Those FedEx,
Mhm. FedEx, yes.
they're all
Yes.
about consistency, right? Like if they weren't consistent, they would literally would not, they would cease to function, right? So um, that's how they beat out the other competition, right? Especially the USPS, but we won't go down that path. But anyway, so yeah, there's tons of examples like that, and most well-known brands, I can almost guarantee you that they are actively engaging in customer loyalty programs and seeking out new ways to, keep and retain loyal customers.
Absolutely.
Excuse me, make
Um,
and retain. Excuse me.
one of the things that I like about some of my favorite sandwich shops around here is Chipotle is one of them. Is that they offer points. There's a point loyalty system where the more you order, the more points you get towards free things, and the more points you get, the more you can, earn yourself a free meal, a free drink, a free, appetizer or dessert. Um, and I, for one, love those. And whenever I go into one of these, they're not your sit down restaurants necessarily. Some of them you can go in and sit in, but they're mostly takeout places, and they're a step up. They're a step up from your normal, from your McDonald's and your Burger Kings, and those fast food restaurants. And um, I don't know. For me, it's a great incentive to keep me coming back. Oh, I get a free drink
Oh yeah.
today. I'm going to use my points.
Why not, right? Why not?
It
I
keeps me
mean,
coming back,
I
especially because the
constantly,
food is good. The food is
yeah,
good, and you're incentivizing me. You're giving me points towards free stuff. Sure, I'll come back.
yeah, I constantly use my Subway rewards. It's only like $2 off, but hey, I'll take two
Yeah, it
dollars off
counts,
and get a
right?
free bag of chips
Especially
out of that,
because
right?
food is expensive these days.
Yeah, yeah. Sure, my order was $40 for two people in Subway, but
But those two
those
dollars
count.
make a difference.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. So let's think here. Um, all right. The I think another key ingredient, another important bit to this whole customer loyalty thing is having a personalization, right? Having it down to the individuals, and using personalization to your advantage to create loyalty, right? Anytime that you can, it's we're in the AI age and the automation age now, right? And it's all well and good for people who are running a business and want to do it efficiently, but there's a risk there that you kind of lose that human personal touch, right? And so it's important to take that into consideration. There are ways to make it personalized, especially when we're talking about email campaigns or email programs, etc. There's ways that you can do that. Um, most CRMs and email marketing programs have the ability to personalize the message built into them,
Absolutely.
but there's
And depending on how you set up your CRM,
yeah,
um, you can be more general. You can have a general personalization. Oh, this is a lead. I'm going to send them these emails. This is a client. I'm going to send them these emails. You can, you can do it like that, or you can have the option to be even more granular. Well, where is this lead in your sales process? Did they download a lead magnet? Did they
mm,
attend a free masterclass? And you can reach out to them based on what it is, the actions that they took, and be even more granular. So instead of sending out a general message that says, um, welcome to my world. Thanks for being interested in my customized robots that I built. You can say you can send them messages that say, thank you for coming to my masterclass. Did you have a question about it? Is there anything, what was your biggest takeaway? Did you like what you heard? You know, uh, take them to the next step down the pipeline, that kind of thing. So
yeah,
you can be as personal or as general as you want. Of course,
yeah,
it's better if the more personal you are, the better.
yeah. And a crucial key to that, of course, is the magic word segmentation, right?
Hmm.
Um, there's numerous ways that you can segment customers, and it all kind of depends on, who your target audience is and what's important information for you to know about them in order for you to deliver that personalized experience, right? It's like,
Absolutely.
as an example, I'm in the process of building out uh, part of my funnel is creating a quiz, which the respondees, when they answer the questions, they go in. It's called the small business growth quiz, and so or the growth stage quiz. So the idea is that you answer the questions and you are given a report that tells you what stage your business is in and what steps you need to take next to start to continue growing, if that is what you want to do. And when people answer the questions, as a result, their answers help me to segment them. You know, I know I have a much better idea of where they're at and what's going to help them. So I can follow that up with a personalized email sequence that is built towards helping them getting to the next level from where they're at, right? And so that that's how I'm approaching this. So I'm almost done. I have just a little bit more to do, but yeah, it's um
Yeah.
it's
And you
project. But
set
anyway,
all this stuff up. It's work on the front end, but once you get it in place,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
fantastic. It runs like clockwork.
yeah, exactly. So and there's all kinds of things like that in big companies. like Netflix, their personalized recommendations for the next
Hmm.
show, right? If you like this, then you'll love this one, kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
Um, when you go to a website, e-com website, customers also bought, you know, that's a form of personalization. It's
absolutely. Yeah.
some,
Based
when
on
you,
your purchases and what you're interested in, they can kind of predict what else you might be interested in.
yeah, and when you can, when you go to a website and you kind of look around for a little bit and you get an email out of the blue from that same website, that's talking about the page you were looking at. That's where it gets kind of eerie, but that's
Yeah,
another
it's really
level.
creepy if you're just a regular person. It's
Yeah,
fantastic if you're a marketer.
yeah. Um, so there's all kinds of other examples. I guess Nike, they send out personalized emails with motivational content. I'm not really bought a whole lot of Nike stuff, so I don't know about that. But this is what Google's telling me here.
But yeah, that's their they're reaching out to their clients and potential clients
Yeah,
their their branding, right? Their branding is all around achieving and reaching for the goal and winning, all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, you're going to be motivational messages is a great way to kind of cement that in people's minds.
get
You
out there
know,
and use those shoes you just bought, right?
right? You just bought running shoes. Where are you going to go running today?
Have you used them yet? Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
10 mile.
another great example is Amazon. Like it blows me away how many items are on Amazon, but
Yeah.
based on your search history, your purchase history, when you log in to it's customized to you. Shows your past orders, things that are related to those things you might like if you want to continue to search, etc. Like it's phenomenal to be able to do something like that. Um, okay, well, anyway, let's uh, let's see here. Um, I think actually, can I find some more? I guess it says Vale Resort. I don't know. I'm not much of a skier, but anyway, I come from Indiana. It's too flat around here. Um, all right. Um, all right. So what else here? So there's personalized product recommendations, personalized
Mhm.
website experience, personalized email marketing, personalized customer service. Um, where like Starbucks, get an example of Starbucks, they have their whole rewards program, right? They track your orders, the rewards, they give you, incentives and discounts based on the number of times you purchased, etc.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so all kinds of stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Those are great ways to get people to build loyalty and to bring people coming back.
There's affiliate programs, that you can set up for more numerous things, which we were just talking
Yeah.
about earlier, right? Especially on Amazon.
A lot of a lot of companies are doing loyalty programs now where you get discounts or you get paid for sharing sharing them with your friends and family. So that's a
Makes
pretty
sense.
easy way to turn your clients, to turn especially your most loyal clients, turn them uh, into a marketing team, a marketing
You're
army
paying
for you.
them for, using word of mouth marketing, right? Tell other people
Yeah.
about them. So why not?
And they say word of mouth marketing is the best type of marketing. It works the
Oh
best
yeah.
because when people come to you based on a friend's recommendation, you've already you're borrowing their know, like, and trust. That person comes to you already with a good feeling about you because they have a good feeling about their friend.
Oh, listen to this. I just typed this in. Just to find out how much is a customer worth to Starbucks. Okay.
Mm.
Google's telling me Starbucks estimates the average lifetime value of a customer to be around $14,000.
Wow.
$14,000. So
That's a
if you
lot of
have
coffee.
this, how much does a coffee cost, right?
Coffee and crumpets.
So you give a free coffee to them, and that's part of the loyalty program every month or so, $4 or $5 cost. No, that's retail. So it costs $4 like maybe $2, right?
Right.
Half that,
Yeah.
if even that. So for the cost of a coffee, they're gaining potentially a customer that's worth fourteen thousand
It's worth
dollars.
$14,000. There is a
That's like word of mouth. Like here's my incentive, like word of mouth, and I'll give you a discount on your next purchase or whatever. Right? It's only going to
yeah.
cost the company that much. But wow, that's
So if we're
incredible.
not setting up loyalty programs in our businesses, we're missing out.
Yeah,
We are really missing out.
yeah. All right. Um, so here's the trick. How in the world do we go about creating these programs?
Mm.
Um, yes, commence the scratching of heads.
Well, I think first step is to decide what type of loyalty program you want to have in your business. What makes
Yeah,
the most sense um, for your type of business? You
yeah,
know, if you're a coaching business, like the people that I tend to work with, having like one of those punch cards where it's you buy 10 and get one free is not really going to work for you because
yeah. It's kind of
people are buying one
weird.
program.
Yeah,
Usually it's and it may be a high ticket program. Um, so a loyalty program in that respect won't necessarily work. But if you're selling sneakers, you're selling coffee, you're selling t-shirts or um, pens, cups, things like that. Yeah, you want people to it's a reusable or disposable item. They keep coming back. It's a consumable. They keep coming back. Then having a punch card system is great.
yeah.
So it depends
I
on
think of
your
like restaurants, coffee shops, food trucks, stuff like that,
yeah
where it's like you need to generate that foot traffic and keep them coming back
on
in
a
to the
consistent
store.
basis.
And
Absolutely.
you need to think about something like that because they have to be there physically in order to scan the thing or whatever it is, right?
Right.
That's
Right.
the that's the crucial bit there.
For say you're an auto mechanic and maybe your loyalty program is whenever somebody comes in to get they come in to get an oil change or to get their tires rotated, you give them a discount off of a bigger service, and you want them to come to you to get that bigger service as opposed to going to somebody else, right? Oh, I need a tune up. um, I'll go to the same guy that rotates my tires, that gives me the oil change, because he's going to
Yeah,
give me a discount.
yeah. If you're talking about like real estate agents, let's say, for example, it's a little bit different, a little bit more difficult, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know,
You're not buying a house every
how
5 minutes.
how long are they going to be living in these houses, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Once you buy the house, it's pretty much like the end of the transaction. Is that right?
here's where the word of mouth thing comes into play, right? And this is
Hmm.
the angle that you have to work there. And I know somebody who's a real estate agent, and they said, what I do is on the 1 year anniversary of the sale with my customer, I send them a bottle of wine as a
Oh,
commemorative gift just to
nice.
remind them of the amazing experience that they had, and of course, gently encourage them to, refer me to somebody in some
Mhm.
capacity, right? Send a little note card. Hey, if you love my experience, why don't you tell 2 or 3 other people about it, right?
Yeah.
The least you could do to help me out.
Absolutely. And you can send them a bottle of wine, you can send them gift cards, you can, and have that going every year, every anniversary. How are you
And you could
enjoying the house? How are you
there's
loving the
ways.
neighborhood? You know,
Yep.
all
Yep.
that, and keep that relationship going so that they will keep you top of mind and keep
Right. Right.
telling their friends about you
And there's ways to
because
set
you're
that
not.
up so it's automated.
Exactly. You set it up so it's automated. You stay top of mind, and they're always telling their friends about you.
Yeah.
Whenever it comes up, oh, do you like your neighborhood? We were thinking about moving there. Oh, you should definitely move here. And here's the person you should call.
Boom. That's kind of like the longer, term play, right? But it behooves you to give the best possible experience that you can, so they have something to
Hmm.
remember you by, right?
And keep the relationship going.
Yeah. Let's see
Uh,
what else. Let me think here. Like manufacturing companies, if they have longtime customers, they'll get special price breaks, especially for quantity discounts, things like that, right? I know of programs like that, so
Mhm.
which keeps people coming back. Um, there's all kinds of ways you can do it, really. Um, it can be extremely simple and get progressively more complex depending on how you want to handle it, right?
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
all right. So let's see here. So once you have your strategy for rewarding your customers, that you still there's one more piece of the puzzle at least that you need to take into consideration that many businesses fail to do so. So this is feedback, listening to feedback,
Mm,
getting taking pulse checks and figuring out where your customers are, right? Um, we're talking surveys, reviews, customer insights, finding out what your customer really values about what it is that you're selling. And, you can use that to your advantage to create perks, you know, as part of the loyalty program.
yeah.
So, if, you know, just a random, so if you are a restaurant and you want to do a loyalty program, right, to keep people coming back in, and you just randomly say, for every, I don't know, a side of jalapenos you order, like that doesn't make any sense, right? But but if based on the data you have, that these are, the hot sellers, um, then you might be able to say, oh, okay, well, obviously people are liking these, and so I'm going to put this as part of my, incentivize my loyalty program using these things because I know that people want them, right? And a
Mhm.
lot of people want them. So, because I have the data to back it up. Um, so that's one way of doing it, just looking at your books, and sales data and all that. But of course, like I said, conducting surveys, reading your reviews, having a word cloud set up. So, like I use a program that synchronizes the reviews and then creates a word cloud based on those reviews. So you can kind of start to see what it is people are saying about you, about your company, and use that, potentially in
Have
other
the
other
exact
areas.
words they're using.
Right.
That's great.
Um, so anyway, so I guess how the question is, how can we act on the feedback once we know it? Um, how does that allow us to create a two-way street when it comes to our relationship with our customers?
I think having that feedback is good. If the feedback is great, you want to escalate it and maybe reward the customer or have them post that feedback for you on Facebook or Google and have automated messages that go out to say thank you for responding. And if the feedback is not that great, and you want to make sure that it goes, maybe that feedback needs to go to a team member and say, hey, um, act on this, correct this, fix whatever this problem is. So maybe we may not be able to fix it for that customer, or we may be able to replace whatever the customer bought that wasn't right, or give them a freebie or something like that. But you may want to act on it quickly, fix the problem so that you don't get too many of these too many uh, bad reactions and negative feedback.
Yeah, and I think doing that and asking for feedback, actively asking for feedback, is sends a
Hmm.
signal to your customers that, hey, you matter, and I want to know what you think, because you're everything to me, right? Like, you are why I exist. So
Yeah,
I'm never going to lose sight of that. So I need your help there, right? And that's where, like, it becomes almost a dialogue. Like, okay, I like this, that, and the other, but you probably need to work on this. Like, okay, thank you so much. Here's
yeah,
blah blah blah, because you helped me out. Like, and of course, like you said, getting those problems solved right away is key there. Showing
absolutely.
you're on it, you're taking, as part of that consistency, right? As
Hmm.
well.
And it shows that you care about what your customers think
Yeah.
and that they're important.
And a lot of these, you know, you look on the receipts that you get at fast food restaurants, and on the back it's always, feedback. We want to hear what you had to say.
Mhm.
A lot of companies, that's already kind of baked in. But it's like one of those things where, I mean, how many people are actually calling that number, right? It's probably enough to make it worth their while, and if you're like a company like McDonald's, and you're serving millions, hundreds of millions of people, uh, the percentage might be low, but it's still going to be statistically significant. Um, might be a little bit different, if you're just kind of a local coffee shop, but in that case, then you're probably going to have to be more explicit about it, right? Like hitting
Right.
people over the head, saying, "Hey,
Give us
maybe
feedback.
not
Give
that,
us
but
feedback.
yeah,
I
yeah,
do see with a lot of those, they some of them do offer incentives. Fill out this survey,
yeah,
and you keep the survey super short. Fill out this 2-question survey, and the next time you come in, you get a free drink, that kind of thing. Um,
hmm
and so that's one way of incentivizing people to give you their feedback, whether good or bad, so that you will get that feedback.
yeah. I know, like, I'm pretty sure Square. If you use Square for your point of sale POS, I'm pretty sure that they have loyalty programs baked in that you can opt into, and they probably help you out with that there. But there's
Hmm.
all kinds of, you know, third party apps that can help there as well.
Yeah.
But if you are, like we said, in the services industry, where it's more professional services like consulting and that kind of thing, you're gonna have to come up with your own situation
Mm.
there, and that's going to be much
But
more tailored to your
it
particular
can be
target
tailored.
audience, right?
That's
Yeah.
true. But it can be automated as well, just like it's automated with your local sandwich shops, you
Hmm.
know. Um, so yeah, you can set up your automations to trigger after a client pays you. You can set it up for like a month and send out a survey to them that says, "Hey, how are we doing? Are we doing okay? What's your take? How was the onboarding? And just ask them questions. And then after another 6 months, you can ask them again. So
Yeah.
how's it going with you? Are you seeing any results? Are you finding it easy to take advantage of the services that you're getting? That kind of thing. Just ask them questions. So you can set those up um, on on a timer to go out after certain actions have been taken, so that you
Hmm.
you never forget to ask. And I think that's
Yeah.
the biggest deal with a lot of small businesses, is that They want to ask, but they forget. They're busy doing other things.
or they don't know how to ask and they don't know how to keep track of it, even if they
Mhm.
did, there's especially like I've been talking about this with a client of mine too. He's a remodeler, and which is one of those industries where you want to make sure that you have the best possible reviews anywhere anybody looks because it's such a competitive industry, right? And so one way to do that is by taking a NPS, Net Promoter Score, like pulse check mid project, so that you
Mhm.
can get you can get an idea of how the customer is feeling before the project ends and before they unleash their fury on Google Business Profile. You can kind of head off situations before they escalate in that case. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
that's part of that resolving issues, right?
Yeah.
All right, so it doesn't have to be too difficult to begin with. It can be pretty simple, just doing a short survey, or even quarterly. For
Mhm.
me, I put a link in my email newsletter that I send out. Click here for newsletter feedback uh, survey if anybody wants to take it. So, um, all right. So, strategic. How is this strategically useful to us? I think we've kind of touched on this at the beginning a little bit, but it doesn't hurt to reiterate. One of the most valuable aspects of creating loyal customers is increasing that customer's lifetime value, right? Which obviously ultimately adds to your revenues, right?
So,
That's probably the easiest, most obvious impact, I think, to your bottom line.
right. Then it also, the longer customers stay, the fewer new customers you need. So you're not necessarily having to chase new customers, new clients constantly because your old customers are sticking around. So,
Yeah, helps you
that
helps you
lowers
to
the cost of getting new customers.
yeah, it helps you break that feast or famine cycle that a lot of people
Yeah.
find themselves in, especially those that are doing project-based work.
Mhm.
Something to think about.
Absolutely. Um, and then also the more loyal, the more loyal your current customers are, the more they're going to share you and refer their friends and family, and their network. And
Yeah,
so it that takes the pressure off of you to go out and find new clients because you basically, especially if you're incentivizing them, you've incentivized what could be an army of marketers for you on the ground in
indeed.
their daily lives, chit chatting
Yeah,
and talking about what you do.
and if you do it right, and you have sort of set this up as this is what our brand is about. This is what our company is about. And it's not so much attached to you as the individual, then that just increases the value of your business because that will follow the business even if you choose to sell it off, right?
Yeah.
So
So
that's
then
that's
you've
an
ended
important
up
thing.
creating this system that can then be passed on to somebody else, or where somebody else can step in and take over and keep it running, keep it going while
Boom.
you're off on vacation.
Exactly. Yeah. Or they are off vacation. Once they take over.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, okay. So
And it makes your
what
business that
else?
much more
Yeah.
valuable. If you decide you want to sell it,
Yeah.
now you
Exactly.
can sell it for more because you've got a system that's going to continue to attract new clients and keep your current clients happy.
Exactly. Exactly. Um, I'm trying to think here what some examples of successful loyalty strategies and how it's turned brands into household names. I mean, we could start rattling off a list of all the fast food restaurants and big names, Coca-Cola and all this, right? I'm sure
Um,
all of them have loyalty strategies that would be difficult to figure out, right?
well, I mean, yeah, and we've already talked about uh, businesses like Chipotle and Potbelly.
Yeah, especially
Yeah,
restaurants. I think consistency is like probably numero uno. You know,
yeah, it's
that
easy
that loyalty.
for them to do that. Yeah. Um, what about a, a hotel chain, like Ritz-Carlton? I heard that
Yeah,
the Ritz-Carlton had such a fantastic system of servicing their clients, that they must have some sort of a loyalty program. A lot of hotels actually have loyalty programs where, um, it's just kind of like part of your travel package. The more you stay, the more points you earn towards free nights and things like
yeah,
that.
yeah. I used to travel a lot for work, internationally, and I always looked to see, especially if I was going to frequent the city and the location. I always looked to see what hotels were in the area that had decent loyalty programs. So I think I
Uh,
had at one point like over 1 million points with Radisson, for example. But because they have those are pretty popular in the Middle East for whatever reason. You don't see them as much here in the U.S., but um, they're a pretty big deal over there. But obviously Hilton is one of those. They have really good uh, loyalty programs.
yeah, I know Marriott's loyalty program is pretty big too. Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
really interesting because they have this loyalty program that works across all of their properties, and depending on what your need is, you may want to stay in a suite for one trip and just a regular room for another trip.
yeah. Marriott had they had an agreement with Capital One. Well, I don't know if they still do or not. So if you owned a certain Capital One card, then you automatically got gold status with Marriott. They use
Nice.
it as a sort of like a referral program between the two. You know, so that's
So
another
that's another thing that we
level
didn't
there
talk
to think
about,
about.
partnering
Yeah,
with other companies. You buy their product, you automatically get a discount off of our product.
yeah, yeah. I
That's
would
a great way to
imagine.
create a complementary, partnership with other brands.
Yeah, I'm thinking like downtown shops can set something like that up pretty easily, right? So
Mhm.
you know, since
They
you bought
could.
here, they have all kinds of like downtown. Some like here locally they have what they call downtown bucks. Um, that you have to go to the local chamber to get them, I think. And anyway, so you can use those as coupons at the local places. But I think each of the different shops has the bucks as well that you can get. I'm not 100% sure how that works, but that's something to think about. But setting up, package deals, like if you are a local masseuse or a massage therapist, for example, right? Setting up a program with like a local candle maker, you know.
Yeah. Or nail salon, the
Yeah,
hairdresser, you know, um, because it's a complimentary service. And yeah,
kind of goes hand in hand, right?
it goes hand in hand. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So it
Yeah,
really just it takes thinking outside the box to to really set up a program that will serve your clients and help them to keep coming back, have them thinking of you constantly, and never forget you. And it gives you more clients. Yay. More clients that you don't have to work for yourself.
absolutely, absolutely. I like
So
the sound of
me too.
that.
Me too. I mean, because most business owners don't get into business to chase new clients. They get into business to do what they like to do.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, and to make good money doing it. So, Yeah, if you can set up a system where people are coming back and automatically, and your current clients are sharing you and bringing clients in the door, then you don't have to worry so much about doing a whole lot of marketing, advertising, being out on social media and all of that. You can
And
just do what you do.
one other incentive that we forgot in terms of if we're talking about in terms of marketing,
Mhm.
the quality of leads that you get from this way, way, way better than
That's
anything
true.
you can get running ads or cold calling or cold emailing or
It's true.
almost anything. Like these are probably the best leads you could get because
Yeah.
they're virtually guaranteed to convert. You
Yeah.
know,
That word of mouth, right? That they're already predisposed to buy from you because their friend told them about you and their friend
and it,
raved about you.
yep. And if you have set it up so that this loyalty is a system, the program you have is a system. It's repeatable and it is consistent. It is the same way across the board for all of your customers. You can start to bank on that, right? If you're going to work with me, then it requires that you at least send me 2 referrals, and then that starts to become part of your predictable system, right? So anyway, just
Yeah.
another thing to think about there.
No more feast or famine.
Hmm. Okay, so building loyalty, you start with trust and being consistent. Personalization is important. Think through the rewards that you're going to give. You know, keep it interesting. You know, make it unique to who you are, who your company is, the brand. You know, think about those things. What kind of a message are you trying to send with this thing? You know, all the things to consider.
Mhm.
Listening to customers, getting their feedback, and acting on the feedback. I think
Absolutely.
key.
If there's a problem, solve the problem quickly.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and we talked about why this is so why this is so great, right? We want to keep bringing people in, having that consistent flow of new leads that you don't necessarily have to work for because your clients, your customers are sending you people, right? They're getting those referrals. You've got your current customers are sticking around longer, so you've increased that lifetime value. And you're creating a system that predisposes your new leads to already want to work with you because it's they're driven by that word of mouth marketing, that loyalty, that good feeling, that know, like, and
Yeah.
trust is already built in.
Yep.
So
And, and
absolutely.
and you're introducing predictability to that that channel for revenue. So
Absolutely. So
absolutely.
no more wondering where your next client is coming from.
Yep. All right. Good deal.
Okay. So fantastic. So if you are ready to level up in your business, get some loyalty happening. Um, Nate will help you with that, helping you to design those systems. And I am great with putting it in place, installing it and turning it on, and let's run this thing. Let's get some loyalty going on in your business. Reach out to either one of us, depending on where you are in your business, and we would be happy to help.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. So before we go, don't forget, subscribe to this channel, share this with a friend, like the video, share it, and comment below. What's your biggest takeaway? What's the loyalty program that you want to install in your business? How are you going to keep people coming back? Ponder those things. And we will see you again next time.